If you'd like to learn how to make these cute little fall decor items for your home, well, that's what I'm going to show you in this video, so follow me. What's up, Glue Dots? I'm Elaine, the Midnight Crafter, with my best little dog in the whole world, Scatuli. And today we are going to show you how to make some really unique little cute fall decor, a little different than all the little pumpkins you've seen everywhere else. We're going to give a little twist to it and do both farmhouse and glam decor. I know a lot of you love the farmhouse, and I know some of you are kind of over it. So I got you all covered, and I'm going to show you both designs. Before we get to the project though, I would absolutely love it if you join the Glue Dot family by hitting the subscribe button right down there. And when you hit the bell next to it, it'll inform you every time I upload a video. Also, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of my videos. Let me know if there's something else you'd like to see. Let me know how cute you think my doggy is. Don't forget also to go down below to the description box if you'd like to enter to win a cute little bling owl keychain. I do a drawing the first of every month, so you may be the winner. Don't forget to go down there and enter. Also down below, you'll find a link to join our fabulous Facebook group, Midnight Crafter Glue Dots. And over there you can post some of the creations that you have remade of mine so I can see and get really cool ideas from you guys too. So I think what we need to do right now is get to the project. So let's do it. The first step in this project would be to remove the outer rings from our trash can. So you're going to go around. I like to use these Dollar Tree cutters. They're from the garden section, and I like them because I feel like they're a little more heavy duty than just regular scissors. So you can see where your seam is, and you're going to go around and you're just going to be snipping all of this as close to the top edge as possible, removing that whole top rim, and then removing also your whole bottom rim. Once you get that whole piece cut out, this is just half of the full length. I cut mine in half. It's easier to show on camera, and that's really all you're going to need for your pumpkin, unless you decide you want to make it a little larger. So the first thing we're going to be doing as far as with this piece is stretching it as much as you can. Use your muscles and stretch it as much as you can in the center part only, because we're going to eventually be squeezing the other part, the top and the bottom parts closer together. So these, we want to stretch our circle out as much as we possibly can. Our next step is going to be then to squeeze together the top part as close together as we can. So you're going to be squeezing this upper part as close together as you can get it to go without overlapping itself. And you can see it'll start to curve around. So we're going to finish that out all the way across. So now you can see we're kind of got the top part formed. You can push that down a little bit to give it a little flatter so it's not a cone. And then we're going to be doing the same thing on the bottom side. Now you may find it easier and helpful to use a pair of needle nose pliers so that you can kind of squeeze together the little triangles. That makes it a little easier on your hands, especially if you want to do more than one of these. So one side always seems, this was the first side I did, one side always seems to be a little nicer than the other. Also, I do recommend that you cut at the top of the triangle and kind of try and keep that triangle intact. But anyway, it doesn't really matter because we're going to be covering the uglier side. And what you're going to do now, you have this put together here, you're going to kind of squish it down to give you a bit of your pumpkin shape. And this is where it's going to take a little bit of kind of finagling and coaxing and maneuvering, but you're going to bend your piece so that you can eventually get it to come around and meet at the side. I think I just turned this one into a gourd. I squished the bottom too much. So keep shaping it until you can get it to the pumpkin shape that you like. And remember, you can kind of stretch and squeeze together different parts as needed. If they're too far apart for your shape, pinch them together a little more and kind of keep working at it until you get the shape that you like. Once you kind of get a little bit of the shape you want and you get your end seam pretty close together here, you're going to be linking that together by just bending some of your little ends on each other and twisting them in there. So you have some little raw ends there, or some ends that stick out, and you're just going to twist those around and have them hook onto each other. It's not really a way for me to fully explain that to you. So if you need to, you can cut the little end off to give you two raw ends so that you have the little pieces to twist around. I mean, I hope that makes some sense, but basically opening up that diamond shape so you have the little pieces so that you can twist them around. And you're going to go all the way up your piece, the seam here, and seal it up like that. So I've got my shape done. It's a little taller of a pumpkin. You can do different sizes. As real pumpkins are, these are going to all have their own different shapes too. So I'm going to kind of try and flatten mine out a little and make him a little shorter and fatter. And kind of, again, you're going to have to just play with it and mold it and shape it and work with it until you get the shape of the pumpkin that you want to have. I kind of like that. He's a little bit tall and slim. My other one's a little short and fat, but you know, just like we are, everybody's different. So we're going to go with that. So the next step we're going to be working on is making the little stem that goes on the top. Anyway, we're going to be using this piece of nautical rope to form our little stem for our pumpkin. And what we're going to be doing for that is simply swirling it around on top of itself and hot gluing it. So put a little hot glue around your edge here. And come around, decide how big around you want it, and keep adding hot glue and stacking it on itself until you get a nice little stem. So this was just a leftover piece that I had of nautical rope, but if you want a longer stem, you're going to need, obviously, a longer piece of rope, and depending on how fat you want the stem and all that. Also, you can kind of make it narrow as you go along if you'd like to, so it looks a little more like a real stem. It's up to you, your project, make it like you like it. So you can see it's starting to stack up here. And once I get to the top, I'm actually just going to stick that piece down inside because we know how this nautical rope likes to fray a little bit. So here's my stem. You're going to take your pumpkin and we're just going to glue that stem right there on the top. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to be creating kind of the base of our floral area for this one, and we're just going to be gluing them on to this mesh itself. So I have my farmhouse style flowers and I have some cotton stems that I'm going to be using. What I'm going to be doing is I'm using the hydrangeas, but I'm not going to cut off the individual flowers. I'm just going to cut off the individual bunches and use those to kind of help keep it together underneath. So what I'm actually going to do is put, for mine, I'm going to take the leaves off of two of these. So I have two without leaves and two with leaves. And I'm going to put one and one on each side and have that kind of form a little bit of a base for my pumpkin. And to cover this messy part in the middle, I'm going to actually use the leaves that I took off to form the base that the pumpkin itself sits on so that it doesn't show through and just see those ugly stems. Crisscross the flowers here and then crisscross my two with the leaves and glue those together, and then I'm going to stick them all together and attach the leaves on. I'm just going to pull these little plastic bits off of here so that my leaves will lay nicer and my pumpkin will be able to sit more comfortably, because we want our pumpkin to be comfortable, don't we? Okay, so I'm putting my glue on here and then I'm just going to attach this onto my crisscross leaves. And I made a nice little throne for the pumpkin to sit on. If you want to put something up on top, if you want to do the little squigglies that sometimes you see on pumpkins, that would be cute too. Then the last thing we have to do is just glue our pumpkin onto its little base here. If you want to add more flowers afterwards, you can certainly do that. Kind of see how it looks for you. Some people like more, some people like less. Some of you may not want any flowers at all. So I've got that on there. And what I'm going to do to fill in some of the other areas is use my little cotton. And I'm going to glue those in, and actually I'm going to probably put some here to also help keep it stable from tipping from side to side as well. But I decided to make a little, the little curly cues that go on the sides of the pumpkin stem. So for the Farmhouse version, I'm simply taking the nautical rope and taking apart the strands. It has 3 strands, so I just pulling those apart, and it makes a little bit of a squiggly thing that I'm going to glue on there. And for the Glam one, I just glued on some of the Mardi Gras beads to make that. So I have my Farmhouse version of it set aside, which I'm going to show you in a minute, but I'm going to also work on the Glam version. If you're enjoying my channel, give me the thumbs up and leave me a comment. And you know, especially I love it if you subscribe. That would be awesome. So, okay, we're going to get to this Glam version. So basically we did the same thing. You can see this pumpkin ended up shorter and fatter. So it may depend on, I'm not really sure what it depends on, maybe the length of how much mesh I cut. Not really sure. This one may have been maybe 3/4 of the way around of the trash can, but anyway, play with it and find out. So what we're going to be doing on here, the same way we made the stem on the other one using the rope, we're gonna, for this one, I'm gonna either use, you can use whatever you choose, but I'm either gonna be using these Mardi Gras beads that I had, or I also found at like a dollar type store for $1.25, I found this set of pearls. So not sure which ones I want to use yet, but let me think about it and I'll let you know. So I'm going to let you help me decide. I think I know what I've decided, but I'm just going to show you a couple things. So I have these cream colored flowers, and I already spray painted this silver. So if I use the cream colored flowers, I was thinking to use the pearls and put that together. Now, I think in that case I would have sprayed this gold because the gold and the cream go better. So I think what I'm going to do, just to show you various options here, I really like the silver beads with the purple flowers that I have. And I love these purple flowers. You could also, with this, add in some of the deep orange and the other fall colors. So for this one, for my Glam version, I'm gonna be doing it with these silver Mardi Gras beads and the purple flowers. So the same way we did with the nautical rope, we're gonna be finding, I always look for where the junction is already. You can see it right there, just so I don't waste any of the other beads. And I break it apart there. So I'm gonna be starting and doing the same thing and making my shape here, my stem shape, by gluing this around and around and around we go. This takes a little more time than the nautical rope, but if you're into the Glam, it's worth the extra effort. So just a little note, when I'm putting the glue on this, I'm not putting it on the top side, I'm kind of putting it on the inside of the beads because we don't want it to really show from the outside, and that just seems to be the best way to stack them and hide it. So I'm kind of at the end here, and I'm going to be pushing the beads to the inside to have a little bit of a flat edge. And there's my stem from my Glam version. So instead of boring you with the details, I'm going to basically go ahead and do the same thing I did with my other pumpkin and the same thing I did with the flowers, putting the base underneath and the extra leaves. So don't forget to give me the thumbs up, guys, and I'm going to show you these all finished. Ooh, can't wait.